Hello and welcome back to Crimax. This week's episode is going to be another murder case for educational purposes. Though we would like to advise caution for anyone sensitive to gruesome details. And now this is the part where I turn it over to the pretty lady sitting next to me for a deeper synopsis.
Thank you. So this week's episode is another murder case. It takes place on a Greyhound bus, which is not the typical location of a murder scene. And at the end, I'm going to be mad. We'll see if you're mad too.
I don't get mad.
Get glad?
Glad trash bags.
You say that all the time.
Heck yeah.
What's our fun fact before we get into the case?
Oh, so fun fact, turning a little bit away from animals and such and more towards corpses.
Ooh, what?
Yeah, I'm starting to run out of animal fun facts, or at least entertaining facts.
See, I didn't know what you were going to do for this week's fun fact. I usually don't ask. Yeah. So what is our human corpse fact or like any corpse?
Any corpse, really.
Okay.
Any animal corpse, anything dead.
Okay.
So if you bury it in the ground, and I believe so, I don't 100% remember if this is actually historically correct, but the reasons that we use tombstones and stuff like that, or we stack rocks on graves and everything, is not so much for a grave marker as much as when bodies decay and they release the gases and stuff like that, they will actually float back to the surface. So we put rocks and stuff over the graves to keep them down.
Yes. Did you also know that mausoleums, as well as like places like and caskets, also have like a ventilation system so that the gases can release and they don't build up inside?
No.
Yeah. There has to be a way for the mausoleum or whatever to release the gases outside so it doesn't build up inside and just cause a bunch of chaos, or it'll eventually make the juices leak out from underneath of the concrete.
Juices.
I feel like if you do murdery like death facts, I'm gonna know a lot of them.
I want a smoothie.
What?
We're talking about juices. I want a smoothie.
I'm talking about human bodily fluids from decay, and you're talking about a smoothie.
What's the difference?
Ew. Ew. Anyways, are you ready to get into today's case?
I am. I is. To being ready.
Alright, so today's case is on the death of Tim McLean, and it was on a Greyhound bus. Like I said, this took place on July 30th of 2008, so it's really not that long ago. It feels like that long ago if you say it's 12 years ago, but it doesn't feel like that's a long time ago. I don't know, I feel like 2008 is pretty modern for like, you know, talking about murder case, because usually like the 70s and stuff. And I'm also laying off Texas, since you always point out that we have like a lot of Texas crimes, and this one takes place in Canada. So we're changing it up a little bit.
A.
Fonzie?
No, Canada.
Canada?
A.
Oh.
A. Well, it's a combination of Canada
A.
and Fonzie. Yeah.
I think it's more like an A. I don't know. But anyways, the death of Tim McLean's what we're talking about today. Tim was described as like a people person who like loves talking to new people, meeting people. I cannot relate to that whatsoever. Can you? Well, yeah, you do. You like talking to people.
Moments.
You do, especially if you like know something.
I have my moments.
Yeah, you do. But like he was a people person. He grew up in a small farming community and he loved to travel. So he loved to travel so much that actually he got like offered a summer job out of high school working as a carny. So he took a job as a carny running like his own games and stuff. And apparently I thought carnies were like not well paid, I guess. I don't know why I assumed that. But like apparently he said he can take up to like $1,000 a week running his own games there.
Nice.
That's a lot of money.
One, though.
What?
It's always the carnies. Either they're the ones doing the killing or they're the ones being killed. It's always the carnies.
We're talking about his death today, so he was the one being killed?
Yeah, but it's always the carny.
I guess. I don't know, but it was just like a summer job at first and he did like all the time, but he took home like $1,000 a week, but he always blew it on partying and stuff, which...
You work as a carny. All you do is party.
I think it's partying, right? You're like going to different towns all around the country and you're just like having fun, and then you just blow money on partying. Like, I can't keep up with that lifestyle, but I guess if you like people and being around people all the time, you would party more. I don't like people. So anyways, he had a girlfriend named Colleen. She was pregnant with his child, and they actually knew each other growing up and everything. She had just gotten a divorce, and they reconnected as adults, and they became girlfriend and boyfriend. So, anyways, he decided he was going to move to British Columbia from his home in Winnipeg, and he decided to go ahead and go home to Winnipeg to prep for his move to British Columbia when he decided to take a 24-hour bus ride on this Greyhound bus. He took the Greyhound bus 1170, and also we're going to talk about another passenger who was on that bus that day named Vince Lee, who was 40 years old, and Tim was only 22. So Vince Lee was a Chinese immigrant. He came to Canada to go to college. He graduated with a degree in computer programming in 2002, but there were no like computer programming jobs in the area, so he worked a ton of odd jobs to support him and his wife Anna. So his odd jobs ranged from like a church to newspaper delivery. He worked at Walmart for a bit. He did forklift operation. He just did whatever could pay the bills since computer programming wasn't paying the bills in 2002. But nowadays you could make so much money with that.
Oh yeah.
Anywhere. You don't even have to like go somewhere. You could stay at home and make money doing that. So in 2005, Vince was actually diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he decided he was just going to drop his wife and like hope she came back to him when he got on his feet and everything. He was going to like go find another job in another town and just like hope his wife comes back, which I don't think that's like the route to take, just like leave her a note and be like, I'm out. But he was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2005, and he did not go on any medication for this, which seems stupid because like you're in Canada, you have free healthcare. Take your medication.
And apparently, they got it made with this whole coronavirus thing.
What do you mean?
I was watching the video or something today about like how here in America, like halfway through or at the beginning of the coronavirus thing, we got $1,200, and then they talked about giving an additional $600,
right,
or whatever. So they're like, oh, America seems to think that people can survive on $1,800 a year, whereas Canada, they got $2,000 a month.
Whoa.
During the coronavirus.
Whoa, that would have been so helpful.
For those that needed it and stuff like that, they got $2,000 a month.
I needed that at the beginning of the year. It was horrible, but
bull crackers.
That's so much. They have it so nice over there, but you know what? They're all so cold, and I don't really want that.
Good snowboarding.
Yeah, you can have that to yourself. I'm not doing that. But like, why if you had schizophrenia and they offered you free healthcare and you could get free medication, I would do that in a second, but he didn't. So anyways, on July 29th, Vince traveled to Winnipeg from Erickson, and he stayed the night on like a street bench near the bus station with his 3 pieces of luggage. He was waiting there to get like the next morning bus. There was only like one a day. And he was also trying to get some money. He had like a little sign up side like by the bench he was sitting at that said like $600 for laptop or best offer. Do you want to know how much he actually took for this $600 laptop he was asking for?
$350.
$60.
Nice.
$60 from some kid. The kid was interviewed and be like, I got a deal. But yeah, he took $60 for his laptop, and he was waiting for the 1170 bus or 1170. I don't know which one I'm going to say, you guys, but he later said that the voice of God told him to get on that bus that day. So at 6:55 p.m., Vince gets on the same bus with Tim McLean. Vince sat in the front, like the front couple rows, and Tim was in the very back corner of the bus, just chilling, listening to music, doing his own thing. Vince was acting odd to some passengers. He was playing with a roll of toilet paper, and it's mixed if it was an iced tea or a soda, but he would like tuck the roll of toilet paper underneath of his chin to take a drink instead of just putting it down. Like he would not put this roll of toilet paper down, which is weird. And he also was like rocking a little bit and like slowly chanting something in Chinese because he was a Chinese immigrant, but it wasn't like super loud or super distracting. It was just like odd things people noticed from sitting up there. He wasn't acting too bizarre that everyone else was staring at him or he was being disruptive. So the bus began to head towards its destination, but it made a rest stop, and Tim got out to stretch his legs and everything. And then when he came back to a seat in the back of the bus, Vince got up and followed him back there, and he took the seat next to Tim in the very back row. So you know, like the back row of a bus, there's like your window, and then behind you there's just a wall. There's nothing else there. That's the very back corner they were sitting in together. Apparently Tim would like, hey, how you doing? Kind of normal hi greeting to him, sitting next to him. And then Tim proceeded to put his headphones on, rest his head against the window, and try to get some sleep listening to music. Also, apparently these buses, I've never been on a Greyhound bus, they have movies in there, and it was playing The Mask of Zorro.
Nice.
I didn't know they had TVs in these things.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I've been on Greyhound buses my whole life. They're great. The back seat also, that's up against the wall,
Yeah.
is usually only 2 seats. It's usually the back couple rows only that way because on the other side is the toilet.
There's a toilet in there?
Yeah, they got a bathroom.
Oh, maybe this one didn't have one because they had to stop and make a rest stop. Or is it just to get out and like walk or something?
Get out and walk.
Okay,
You
like
still get
smoke
restaurants.
some people smoke cigarettes.
Smoke cigarettes, get out and walk, buy snackies, stuff like that.
I didn't know they had toilets in there. That's cool.
They have a toilet.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
then,
like a plane.
Yeah, essentially.
So at 6:55 is when Tim and Vince went to the back together, even though Tim was already back there. And at 8:30 p.m., a lot of passengers were just chilling, like trying to get some sleep because it was nighttime outside. The passengers just heard a horrifying scream come from the back of the bus, and it got everybody's attention. Everybody woke up and was like, what the hell is going on? Freaked out by this blood-curdling scream. And apparently at least according to the passenger beside Tim and Vince, like in the street, I guess across from the aisle, there's like 2 other seats. There was someone sitting there. They said that Vince had just pulled out a large knife from his backpack that he purchased from the hardware store the day this happened. Like the voice of God told him to go to the hardware store and buy a knife because he's going to need it for self-protection. He just pulled out this knife and just started randomly stabbing Tim in a very robotic motion, like some slasher, shing, shing, shing kind of stuff. Like
Chucky.
like not very like sporadic, not a rush killing. I think that's what you call it, rush kill? No, like a sporadic passion kill. It was more just like a robotic, just kept stabbing him in the neck and chest. And then like he was in the back corner, so Tim really couldn't get away. He tried to fight him back, and then he tried to like jump over the front row of seats in front of them, and Tim just fell face down into the aisle and couldn't get back up. We don't know if he was actually conscious after he fell down there or if he was already dying at that time, but everyone on the bus is freaking out. The people across were like yelling for the bus driver to stop the bus. Someone's getting stabbed. And eventually the bus driver named Bruce decided to go ahead and get involved. Once he stopped the bus, pulled it over, and got all the passengers out, he kept yelling at Vince to...
Bruce Banner?
I don't know who that is.
The Hulk?
No.
Did he get mad? Did he turn green?
No.
Did he go on a roid rage?
No.
He wasn't the Hulk.
No, he was just a bus driver named Bruce. He decided to get involved. He got all the passengers out and then started yelling at Vince to like, stop what you're doing. And then Vince proceeded to walk towards Bruce, and Bruce was like, and got out of there immediately, but started to like try to board the door up so he couldn't get out and follow all the rest of the passengers and himself out. All the passengers outside were freaking out, so like 2 people pulled over to come help. It was another bus that was kind of along the same path, pulled over to see what was going on, seeing this random bus pull off on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. And also a truck driver named Chris decided to like pull over and see where all these people are standing outside. So Chris and the other bus driver named Bernie decided with the other bus driver Bruce to go in there and like see if they could get Tim out and save him, because they were like big strong men. They're like, we got to get him out and save him. And that didn't go very well. So Bernie, the other bus driver, was trying to tell Tim like, just put the knife down. We can, get you out of here. Let me take him out. And all that Vince said was get emergency, while he was taking out chunks of Tim's flesh and continually stabbing him, and proceeded to try to saw off with the buck knife. He's trying to saw off Tim's head, and he was taking out chunks of his flesh and holding it in his hands and walking towards everyone trying to get Tim out of the bus. So they proceeded to leave the bus, and the truck driver Chris had a crowbar and everything. They just tried to board up the bus and stop him from getting out of it. And then the 2 bus drivers that were pulled over on the side of the road decided to go ahead and disable the bus so he couldn't drive away from the scene, which is genius. I wouldn't think about him taking over the bus and trying to drive himself.
Well, if he took the keys.
Well, I think he
That'd be a
just
good
pulled
start.
over on the side of the road and was like, what was going on? He probably left the keys inside. But anyways, after they actually disabled the bus, he did try to drive away from the scene to get away. But after he couldn't like drive away, he decided to go ahead and try to like, he found a pair of scissors and another knife in the bus and like the possessions and stuff when everyone's out of there. He proceeded to like try to pry his way out of the doors. And meanwhile, everyone, all the passengers, everyone that pulled over is just looking inside the bus, and they can see everything. There's like a million windows in the bus.
Well, see, I'd also have to be slapping my head, because not only are there a million windows, but usually there's going to be, I think, at least 4 of those windows, as well as hatches on the top, pop out for emergency exit. Like, the windows are actually really big, and whole sections of those punch out for emergency exits.
But he doesn't...
So if he wanted to get off, he could have gotten off.
Yeah, but he just tried to open the door and pry it open, and when he couldn't do that, he just like...
Because he's not smart.
Yeah, and when he couldn't... I don't know why I'm laughing, but when he couldn't get out, he just decided to go back to the body and just start tearing it apart even more. Tim's body more. And all the people outside were just watching this, but it's one of those things where they're like, they just kept watching because what else are they gonna do on the side of the road in the middle of the night? They're just watching him tear these chunks out of his flesh and trying to decapitate him. So he's trying to behead him with the knife. So the police hadn't shown up yet. The people were still waiting for the police. And this is when he began to take out the organs and try to take apart his limbs. He hadn't quite decapitated him yet, but he was taking his organs out and taking his limbs apart. At 9 p.m., the first responders got to the scene. They say they had a great response time. They were like an hour away from the nearest town, like on the side of the road, and they got there in like 20 minutes. So everyone's really happy about how fast they got there. But to just watch someone be brutalized and torn apart for 20 minutes doesn't sound great to me.
I would like to say that if he continues to try and build a case of self-defense, I don't think it's going to work at this point. Because you said he was stabbing him at, like, supposedly self-defense.
Well, he told the voice of God said he needed a knife for self-defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he explains later on what happened. But, you know, crazy is crazy. You know? I'm not going to sit here and say people who have schizophrenia are crazy. I'm just saying certain people are more messed up than others. Like, there's just, I'm not even gonna blame.
Babe, I've told you this before. I love you for who you are.
What does that mean?
Nothing.
No, tell me what that means.
I was being funny. Because we know you're messed up, baby.
I have a lot of issues, but I don't have...
so than some. No,
I have a lot of trauma. Does that count?
Yep.
So again, 9 p.m. the first responders are on the scene, which included ambulance and police and also negotiators as well as like a SWAT team to like get him out, but they didn't do that. So anyways, they tried to talk to Vince and like negotiate him out of the bus, but Vince kept saying like really incoherent things, so he would say something crazy, just like they couldn't understand. And everyone is just watching outside again, like even the police had not gotten a way to get the passengers. There was like 37 people outside just watching from the passengers. And then first responders, everything. So there's probably like 50 people outside at this point just watching him do this from the windows because the bus is still lit up.
They got the 500 people backing up traffic because they're rubbernecking.
Honestly, I didn't even think about that, but you were so right.
Jackasses.
Yeah. That had to be terrible. But Vince decided to go ahead and like make a scene, you know? He didn't like the police getting involved in his whatever you want to call it.
Self-defense.
Sure. And Vince decided to like start sniffing the organs, and he would eventually like take bites out of them and like kind of just chew on the little bites of meat.
Pulling the Hannibal Lecter.
Well, I guess, isn't an organ meat?
It's a muscle.
Yeah, so it's not a meat. Is it a meat? Is an organ meat?
Yeah.
Organ
it's a
meat.
muscle.
I don't know.
Essentially.
But he would take a bite of organs, and then he would wipe the blood all over the bus, all over the windows, all over the seats, and like just show everyone outside what was going on. Then eventually he actually got the head off of Tim's body and just started showing it, carrying around from side to side of the bus, showing it to people in the windows as like a prize, I guess.
I'd be impressed.
Would you be impressed? What the? I don't know. It's a weird thing to do.
I'd be wondering what the hell the SWAT team and cops are doing.
Well, they try to talk to him and negotiate him out of the bus to get him. It's
Really?
It's Canada, so their police are more likely to take someone alive than
yeah,
ours.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I was just remembering something else I had heard. I forgot. Up in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, up in Canada, no one but like the military and the police are allowed to carry firearms.
Yeah, so the regular police didn't have them. They called the SWAT team who had guns. But Canada's more likely to be more, I mean, this is just an assumption, more passive than us. Our SWAT teams just go in and knock stuff out usually. But they wanted to talk about it.
Go send a person in with a couple riot shields.
Well, what I was thinking would have been the easiest thing to do is just throw a gas in there.
Oh yeah, that too.
I thought just gassing it, like open the door for 1 split second when he's not at that end of the bus and just gas it, knock him out, drag him out. But they didn't do that.
You don't even have to knock him out. You could just throw in some CS gas, which is going to make all lovely beautifulness of his sinuses, and come out and won't be able to see crap, and then you grab him.
Yeah, I mean,
strain him.
This went on for hours.
Stupid. Should have went on for like seconds.
Like this started at 8:30, and then he was there until 1:30, like in the bus by himself, doing whatever he wanted to Tim's body.
Should have been over in like a second.
I agree. They did not handle
dead.
this.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably dead. They said that he probably got stabbed 50 times by the time all the passengers were out.
Oh, he was dead by the time he hit the ground, probably. After he jumped over the seat and fell.
With the serial killer kind of stabbing, they said he was stabbed 50 times by the time the passengers got out, and that was like an hour ago at this point. But anyways, it was... They go ahead and take the passengers off the scene on another bus at 8:45. They went to the police station to get like interviewed as like what they had seen, and then they just stayed there all night. At 1:28 a.m. is when they finally got Vince out of the bus. It was actually his choice to get out of the bus. He broke a back window, threw some stuff out there, including his weapons, and then he went out afterwards. So I guess he got tired of being in there, even though he said he was going to stay in there forever. They didn't even get him out. He got out himself. I feel like that's some bullshit. The cops did not do what they were supposed to do. No. At all. But anyways, he tried to escape, like he tried to run and everything. They tased him twice, and he was arrested on scene and went without any further issue. He just asked the police to kill him, and obviously they did not. They just tased him. But like, to me, I would have killed the guy. You know? Like, he's in there just desecrating a corpse. He's no use to me. No. He's a threat to everyone, you know?
Yeah, no, but he's got to stand trial and blah, blah, blah.
I guess, but like, I don't know.
I'd at least rubber bulleted his butt.
Yeah, something. You could have opened a window. You could have opened the door at any point. Like, he's one dude with a knife. Y'all could have taken him.
Beanbag him.
Yes, y'all could have taken him. I still think the gassing idea would have been the best. Preserve the scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I would have gassed him, and then I would have opened the driver door.
Yeah.
So that way you can control where he's going to funnel through.
Yep.
Once he gets down, he's going to be disoriented. He's not going to be able to see anything. Snot's going to be going everywhere. At that point, you restrain him.
It really should not have been till 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. to 1:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Should not have lasted that long. Mm-hmm. And he had all that time in the world to just go around, cut him up, take his organs out, decapitate. You know how I feel about decapitation. I don't like it. Mm. And then he was.
Well, there is no reasoning with someone like that.
No, there's no reasoning with him. So they tried to reason. They just sat there watching him for hours, which is just weird to me. But when they checked Vince's pockets, they found some of Tim's nose, his mouth, and tongue. I couldn't determine if it was mouth or tongue. I heard different reports. And an ear.
Hey, Tim deserves to be heard and deserves to have the right to speak.
Okay, that's weird.
I guess smell.
Yeah, that's a weird way to put it. But he was saving these pieces of his face to, I guess, maybe eat later. Since he had chewed on some of them before.
Yes, because whoever says the nose is the best part.
I guess he bit it off, is what I'm... I don't know. But I can't determine if it was his tongue or his mouth. Ew.
People that save chewing gum?
I've never saved chewing gum. That is weird.
I don't think I have either.
But when the police got inside the scene, they found a bunch of like small trash bags. I guess these buses have like little tiny trash bags with a bunch of organs and parts he had put into different little bags all over the place.
Oh, he cleaned up after himself. That's nice.
They never found some of Tim's heart and his eyeballs. So we presume he ate them, but we never saw him eating it because a lot of the time he was just like down on the ground just taking apart the body, and they couldn't see that entirely from the windows. But at 10 a.m., the Greyhound passengers were taken away from the police station where they were interviewed, and they were taken to a hotel and then taken to a Walmart where they were allowed to get a different outfit because a lot of their outfits were covered with blood from when the initial stabbing kind of sprayed and covered a lot of the passengers. I actually think it's kind of like crap that Greyhound just bought them a new outfit that was covered in blood, and they replaced like there was something on the bus that day and it got covered in blood and you can prove it and it got destroyed, or replace it, but they never gave these people any compensation. They literally like refunded their ticket and took them to Winnipeg where they were going, but like they had all these passengers like PTSD from this event and they got all this.
Yeah,
I know it's not their fault.
Yeah,
but
I know. I would have been okay with I would have been as long as there was nothing too important, honestly, I'd probably want it anyways.
I wouldn't want anything I'm traveling with, honestly. It's just clothes.
Yeah. Well, I travel with a lot of tech, so.
Yeah.
Anywho, to have them replace it and whatnot and, get me where I'm going, I'd be okay with it.
I don't know, because you're sitting there for hours outside.
That was weird. Let's get on another bus and continue our trip.
Yeah, but you're sitting for hours outside, like waiting, watching this tragic thing. I feel like a lot of people love to sue for anything, so a lot of people tried to sue, but they couldn't.
I was just say, if you're tired of this, well, go sit back on the bus. There's plenty of seats.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. Shut up and be happy.
Okay, no. Like, some of these people committed suicide after from what they saw.
Okay. Yes.
Because, like, the PTSD was so bad.
No, yes, I understand that. I mean, at that point, therapy and stuff like that, I understand the PTSD. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the nitty bitties that are sue happy for whatever.
I don't know. I feel like this is kind of dramatic. This might be. Personally, I wouldn't sue. I'm not that person.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It wasn't Greyhound's fault.
No, it's definitely not their fault. Some psychopaths
you would sue because of, I don't know, improper maintenance on a bus causes a wreck or something like that.
It's definitely not their fault, but they did not handle the situation properly.
That's the cops. They didn't handle the situation.
They had a campaign.
The bus driver was lit. I mean, he got
Bruce?
he got everyone out and then even boarded up
and disabled the vehicle.
Exactly, and disabled the vehicle. Give that man a medal.
Yeah.
And a raise.
He actually still drives buses apparently, but he only drives empty ones. You know, like when they're just being transported somewhere and they're not like being in service. He doesn't do them with people.
No,
anymore.
he was great. It's the cops that didn't do.
They definitely didn't.
The best of the situation.
Greyhound did not handle the situation afterwards very well. The bus actually got cleaned up, put a new number on it, and it's still in service. This was a massacre. There was organs everywhere. Someone died in there, and then you just put the bus back in service and recycled it. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. It's a murder scene on wheels. But you're lying to people and saying that it's not. If they didn't change the number, fair enough, I guess. Saving their property. But the fact that they changed their number on the bus so people wouldn't know which one it was is shady as hell to me.
I want to find it now.
It's weird.
Oh, you know
Someone
what? I
has
wonder
to
if
know.
they got the VIN number. Because you can't change that.
Yeah, I mean, someone has to know. And then also they had like a campaign going in Canada that was like, no one's ever heard of bus rage, because like road rage. They had to change that shit after this, didn't they? They took all their billboards down.
I'm going to track that Greyhound bus and we're going to take a trip.
You're going to take me to a bus for a date?
I'm going to take you on a bus.
That is so not
sit in the
romantic.
seat, and then like a couple hours in, like, hey, remember that story we did? That's where he died right there.
We are not going to Canada. You know I hate the cold.
Greyhounds go everywhere.
Yeah, but it's a Canadian branch of Greyhound buses. It literally has the flag on it.
No, it can be repurposed.
Oh,
you never know
okay.
where it's at.
Well, you never know how they
All you gotta
repurposed
do
it.
is track down the
They
VIN.
could have sent it to America. We don't know.
All it needs is the VIN. Which
Okay.
it'll probably be on the police report, and then I can search it.
Honestly, it might be.
It should be.
So Tim's family didn't find out about his fate until 24 hours after it all started. And once he was arrested, of course, like, Vince was questioned and put on his correct medication for his schizophrenia. And then once he was like medicated and even down, he started to talk about why he did this, especially during his examination to see if he was sane. So Vince's reasoning for this is claiming that he was the evil son and God had chose him to be a killer, and he also chose the victim. Do you have something to say? You have a weird look on your face.
So the dude had schizophrenia.
Yes.
Obviously, they've already diagnosed it, and they have him on medication.
Yes.
Let's see why he killed somebody. Let's see if he was sane while he... No!
What?
That's just... I don't know if, like, how... Like, the way you worded it right now, I just want to slap everyone.
Yeah, no, they put him on the medication. They had him even out on it, so he'd be, like, fine and
So
stable.
they knew he was crazy
Yes.
and not stable.
Not stable. And then they put him on it, and then they wanted to know. They questioned after he was on the medication.
No, yeah, I'd question to find out, you know, what was going on, what he was thinking.
I mean, he got a lot to say, apparently.
Not to see if he was sane, because clearly we knew he wasn't.
Well, you can have a mental illness and still be competent to stand trial, you know? Like, you knew everything's right and wrong is basically what you're standing trial for, you know?
If you're eating noses and eyeballs and spreading organs on a bus, kind of hard to believe you're sane.
Okay, yeah, but there's a lot of serial killers who are perfectly sane, just got a lot of issues. So anyways, Vince was saying that he was the evil son of God, and like God had chose him to be the killer. He also chose the victim. He said like Tim had to die, he was evil or something, and he was like gonna kill. He said that like Tim was gonna like kill him, and that God was gonna strike him down dead instantly if he didn't kill Tim. Which is like a weird thing to think, especially if you're religious. You think God's just gonna kill you for no reason if you don't kill someone else. It seems kind of pointed, in my personal opinion.
I mean, Cain and Abel, but God kind of stopped that.
I don't know what that means.
Cain and Abel. Supposedly God went to Cain and told him to kill his brother Abel, and Cain did kill his brother Abel, but he thought it was because God told him to do so.
So misinterpretation.
Pretty much.
Mixed messages. Honestly, if I think someone said they heard the voice of God, I'm thinking they got issues.
If it's, yeah, I mean, if it's anything bad or something like that, then chances...
No, in any sense. If someone told me they heard the voice of God, I'm like, oh, okay.
I was going to say, because Satan works in many ways.
Apparently Satan's hot.
But God's, yeah, okay.
That's what they say. He's the most tempting.
God's not going to go around telling you to kill people and then, you know.
Or it's basically a threat. If you don't kill him, I'll kill you.
Yeah, exactly. That's not God. The devil attacks you in many ways, if you believe in that.
I don't.
I know. That's why I added that last part, because I know you're just thinking I'm crazy.
I don't think you're crazy, honey. Yeah. I let you believe what you want. But anyways, Vince was angry that Canada doesn't have the death penalty. I don't know if he just didn't know they didn't have the death penalty for some reason.
These states need to bring back public executions.
Stop, we're not doing this again.
They need to bring back the death penalty.
We have the death penalty in Florida. So the professionals spoke to Vince, heard all of his stuff, and actually he was like really weird. He refused to speak to the judge in court. He like only answered in head nods, except for whispering one time to the judge, like lifted his head up and was like, "Kill me." That was it. But they don't have death penalties, so, you know, I don't really know where he thinks this is going to go. That's the only thing he said in court other than head nods. But Vince, when being charged, pled for the murder. He's pled not criminally responsible, which is not something you generally see in America. It's not something like a typical plea. You see not guilty by reason of insanity, or no contest is another plea people make a lot. But he pled not criminally responsible, which is not the same thing as saying he didn't do it, because he clearly knew he did it and he said he did it. But he said he wasn't responsible because voices in his head told him to do it, and the voice of God, and they said, like, you know, Tim was a threat.
It's a plea of insanity.
It's a plea of insanity, but a plea of insanity that means it was like a one-time deal. He's basically saying, I wasn't on my medication. This is why it happened, and I could, you know, everything go back to normal. And he won on that defense. He actually, instead of being charged with second-degree murder, he did win the not criminally responsible for not having his medication at the time of the events. He went to a mental hospital for a couple years with no prison, no criminal record from this. He ate someone's flesh and decapitated them and has no criminal record. And then he was released into the free world after like 2 years.
Baby, I need to become a schizophrenic.
Why?
Because apparently you can get away with anything.
Yeah, he has no criminal record. He's living as a free person. He actually, in February 2016, changed his name from Vince Lee to Will Baker. Yeah, Will Baker. So if you see this guy in Canada or anywhere, because he's a free man, he can go anywhere, avoid that. And everyone that works around him now with his new name says he's a great guy. He's so nice.
Make sure if you do find him, ask him if he took his meds today. That'd probably be the lead.
I'm just going to run away. Just run away.
Nah.
Avoid that.
Apparently he's a great guy.
They say he's a great guy. I mean,
he's on his meds.
He's very remorseful for what he did, apparently, and he's like a pleasant person to be around. Why are you around this man? Why are you sitting here telling me nice things about him? He ate a dude's eyeballs out.
Nice.
It's not... Okay, so here's the question I have for you today. Is mental illness something that he should have been locked away for forever for this? Should he went to prison? Or do you think like the reform maybe worked after like 2 or 3 years and he's free to be out is justified? I personally think if you want to put him in mental ward, do it, but lock him up forever. This is not someone safe to be around in the public. If he could just snap out of nowhere and just kill a random person and do all this for hours, I mean, to me, that's not like a split second you stab someone and moved on. You played this game out for an entire time.
Well...
And also, he did not take his medication. That's on him, especially if he had free health care. This is where he's responsible for his actions.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you had access to your medication, you decided not to take it, that is your fault. You did this for hours. You want to lock him up for mental illness, that is fine. But do not let him out, especially after, like, 3 years.
Yeah, I still feel like he still needed to pay for...
Like prison or institution?
A little bit of both, I would think.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, a little bit of both, definitely. Start with the institution.
Reform him a little bit and then make him pay?
Reform him a little bit and then make him, you know...
Yeah, him having no criminal records bullshit.
Because, I mean, I've seen, or at least I've seen, you know, what mental illnesses and some things can do. And honestly, in some cases, they are so severe that you really lose your mind. You don't have control over yourself.
Yes.
But at the same time, that's still not an excuse. Especially if, like you said, you have access to your medications and things like that.
And it's free.
If you know how bad it can get, then that's on you.
If you were clinically diagnosed, it should have been something you addressed. You clearly know you had a problem.
Yeah. So I feel a little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been to a point of snapping and doing things that I really would never admit to the internet.
Yeah.
But like, never something that I would say, hey, I have this issue, I'm not going to diagnose it. That's just a whole just a situation.
I would have to see.
He needs punishment.
Yeah.
Tim's dead, he was 22, and this dude just walking around, got a new name, no criminal record.
Yeah. I'd have to also kind of, determine, how remorseful is he.
But what if he snaps again? Because you never know.
I would say there'd have to be, there should be safeguards.
There's no monitoring. He's free.
I know. No, I know that. But
he could just stop his medication at any point and kill more people.
Yeah, I know. But, because that's not really something you can kind of control.
No, but he could at any point just stop his medication again and do whatever he wants, and more people are gonna die. This is just like the broomstick murderer when they let him out of death row, and then he went right back in.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, I understand both sides, because at the same time, as long as he's on the medication, I mean, essentially you're killing a functioning, quotation marks, innocent person of society.
Well, you're not killing him. He still has a life in an institution. I'm not saying don't give him like
like the death penalty.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he needs to be under supervision. And if he's if he's in like those institutions where you live your life, you have some freedom with the grounds and everything, so be it.
That's what I would probably say is he needs to have supervision.
Yeah.
Something like a not a nanny, but like a full-time nurse or something that's going to make sure.
That's why I think he should live in the institution so he doesn't have the opportunity to stop taking it.
So, let him be a free man, but
I don't think he should be a free man.
But confined to, that institution is his home. Like,
yes, that's what I mean.
He can't go out and, or at least he can't
a nurse coming by every morning,
or something like that,
making sure he's taking his pills,
unless he's accompanied and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there needs to be some kind of punishment for him. He really should not have been allowed to legally change his name.
Yeah,
that's sketchy as shit to me.
Yeah.
Especially since he was 40 years old. He was a grown man when he did this. It's not like he was a kid who made this mistake.
Yeah. But at the same time, depending on how functional of a member of society he can be on his medication, because I mean, with a name like that, with everything going on, I mean, essentially his whole life pretty much was destroyed by this. He would have never gotten a job, nothing.
Good.
So
he shouldn't be out. Institution life? Cool. You want to, do something, you can do your computer programming from there.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I am
you really could. But at the same time, though, if we institutionalize, then I'm pretty sure, do they have taxes up there? Because I'm pretty sure the way it works here, because anyone in prison here,
we're paying for. I understand that.
So,
Yeah. I get that. But at the same time, it's a public safety issue for him to be out to me.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know. I'd have to actually be there, I guess.
I just think it's too long of an incident. Everyone's had a manic episode.
No, that was way.
See, that's what I'm saying. It only takes a couple hours to get. It's not an all-night procedure here. It's not that's something you should have seen built up. You allowed him to go into a store, buy a knife, and then just hack someone to death and apart, and then eat them. Yeah. No, that's not a one-time deal. That's not something you built up.
Well, again, this is where schizophrenia played in, because if it's severe enough, that is a one-time thing.
But it's his fault he didn't take his medication. He was diagnosed.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying, yeah.
If he hadn't had diagnosis, he didn't know anything was wrong with him, I'd feel differently. But the fact that he did have an official diagnosis beforehand and didn't take it, it's on him. No, it's not like America where your pills are ridiculously priced.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But that's the death of Tim McLean. Do you got anything else to add?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, covered it.
Yeah.
Will Baker, you guys. Will Baker's his new name. Avoid that. It sounds like a fake name anyways.
I really hope he owns a bakery.
What?
I don't know. It just sounds.
It's gonna be like Sweeney Todd. He's gonna have meat pies. No.
I want one now.
No.
I'm hungry.
Anyways, thank you guys for joining us for another episode.
Have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye.